Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. This is the 10-minute chart of silver provided by netdania.com. You can click on the link below. Now you can see that we had a significant sell-off today. I posted on the blog a chart that was documenting this significant volume spike. As soon as I saw the volume spike come in, I decided to pull the trigger and buy a little bit more silver. This is going to be, as you'll see on the chart, a point where we're going to separate the men from the boys, the people who really believe the fundamental silver story, as opposed to the people who are scared by paper prices. We're going to look at that when we talk about what Bix Weir and others have said today. But let's pull out to a long-term chart. We want to get a look at the daily here, because you can see that we're coming back and testing a very old trend line here. Now you can draw these a number of ways. You can see there's some touch points I've skipped. I tried to meet the most touch points, which is going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so. So we're right at a key inflection point. You can see the upper trend line drawn down. A very important point for silver that we're coming to, and that's going to be very decisive. Now I want to show you the coins that I chose today. I decided to stack the 2012 half-ounce koala. Now before I did that, I did do a bit of research on the koala series. Now if you look that up, you'll find out that the Perth Mint has said that they don't have a mint limitation number on the koala series as they have on the kookaburras. So it's kind of a risky play. I'm not recommending anybody do anything, but these are the coins I got for $17.22, and that comes to about $34.44 an ounce. So you're talking about $4.50 above spot. They have about 1,000 left. So if people want to piggyback me, that's up to them. I don't really care either way, but that's what I did today. Now, I don't know if we're going to go lower or drop down and test. Really, the major significant support line is all the way down around this $20 point. So that could be a big drop. I actually would like to see that. I'm not completely out of dry powder, but I did do a significant buy today, and I would love to see the price actually collapse below this line, and just to see what would happen with the bullion dealers like APMEX and Gainesville, to see if they would continue to adjust their prices lower. You can see the last time we tested 26 was more of a consolidation. The time before that was a spike down, and there was a spike down before that, and of course that was the takeoff point on the run to 50. So very exciting times. It's very difficult to stack when you're seeing this type of manipulation of the paper price. Again, that volume was very large. I'm not going to go into the argument about whether it was contracts or not. Now, I wanted to talk about the silver manipulation and the ability of the large players to enter that game. But before we do that, I wanted to take you over to the forum, and we have done another silver sweepstakes. It's a 2-ounce silver sweepstakes, so we're giving away one of the 2-ounce Perth Mint Lunar Series Dragons, and you can sign up and enter this contest or sweepstakes. All you have to do is go to the forum, and if you don't know how to get to the forum, you can just go to the blog, and if you click on this link here that says forums, it'll take you to a redirect it'll take you to the forums, and I'm logged in so you can't see it, but it will give you a place where you can sign up for the forum. Now there is, you just click login or register. Now there is a limitation on that. You have to post 10 posts. You have to be an active member. This contest or sweepstakes is going to run from 10 p.m. tonight for 1 week until 10 p.m. Friday the 22nd. And it's going to be based upon the Kitco real-time price at that time. And I posted it here. Currently it's $29.80. So you can post one time on this thread. The thread is closed right now. I will open it up tonight at 10 p.m. Just go ahead and post one time your guess as to what the closing price will be 1 week from now. And this is a very good time to do this because it could be very, very volatile. We could see a dramatic breakdown from this point, or we could see a bounce and a rally based upon that very, very dramatic volume, as you can see here. I'm not going to debate as to whether these are contracts or not, but if you go to the 5-minute, you can see that we had a significant, very, very large volume spikes that came in on the market today. So I pulled the trigger, and I think a lot of people did, but we'll have to wait and see what we do next week. Now, I wanted to take you to a very important topic that we're going to cover tonight, and that is the ability of the big players to get into this game. And I wanted to play a little bit of an interview that was done today on Kerry Lutz's channel, Financial Survival, and he did an interview of Bix Weir, and I want you to listen very closely about what Bix says about the reason why silver has not been promoted by the people who are involved in commodities. So let's listen to that real quick here.
Assets.
Yeah, well, we've gotten away from a whole world where tangible assets and things actually represent wealth. But my feeling is, and I think if you listen to Jim Rogers and others, we're going to go back to that world where, in the ground, the wealth in the ground, the oil that's waiting to be extracted, the minerals, the metals, that's going to be real wealth. And I think, honestly, that was a better time in a lot of respects.
Well, it is, and it constrains you on what you can do. And that's kind of the whole thing. The funny thing is when you talk about Jim Rogers, I remember reading his book Hot Commodities back, 2003, 2004, whenever it came out. And he made some great points. He even talked about gold, which was unheard of at the time. But he made all these points about why hard assets and commodities are so important. But the funny thing about that book is that there is not a mention at all of silver. Mm-hmm. Silver, literally, every single point he made, silver was the biggest investment you can do based on that reason, based on shortage, based on the amount of derivatives, based on supply and demand. Everything was pointing towards silver, but he never even talked about silver. That just tells you how important it is to hide the silver story. Even the commodities guru has, in his best-selling book, doesn't even bring up silver. Every other asset has a whole chapter about it except silver, even gold. Everything except silver. It's the wool has been pulled over the people's eyes for so long on the silver story, and finally, because of the alternative media, people are starting to get it. People are diving into silver, and you should literally, hands down, go to your local coin shop and buy as many coins as you can, because it's falling apart. The whole system's, the walls are crumbling down, and now is the time to be in. You don't have to go through the 13, 14 years of pain that I've gone through, and many of us have gone through.
Sure.
Even though silver has risen, the reason we got in was the end of the manipulation. The manipulation's still going on, but silver's 10 times as, 10 times as not as valuable. It has the same value, but the price has gone up 10 times. It should have gone up 100 times or 200 times.
So there you have it from Bix Weir. That's a point I've made in the past, and I'm glad to see Bix bring that out. that it is very startling to see the fact that Jimmy Rogers did not address the silver story. Now, if you remember, Jimmy Rogers was the one who mentioned that silver could be in a bubble if it ran to 100. That was before the May SmackDown. So why is it that the billionaires of the world can't recommend physical silver? Well, we know the answer, and that is because there just isn't enough. Now, another story you probably remember was the Warren Buffett story. I'm not going to go through and go through the articles and the history of it, but if you look on this chart for more research, you can see it was around here in 98. We had a spike. Silver was trading in the $4 range, and it ran very quickly up to about $7.50 or so on this chart and then fell back. That was the point when Warren Buffett announced, I believe the figure was 110 million ounces of silver he was taking delivery of, and he was going to store it in London. Now, as he was subsequently questioned about that many years later, he just kind of wouldn't really say what happened, but he didn't have it anymore, and he took a loss. And so we don't know where he sold it. We don't know if he sold it. We don't know if he was strong-armed or what happened, but we know that he now says he doesn't have any, and we can see what happened. So Warren Buffett has been considered to be one of the best investors who's ever lived. And we can see from this chart, of course, he may have been a little bit early. He could have bought here in 2002 or 2003. Nevertheless, that would have been one of the greatest investments that Warren Buffett had ever made. And but we can see he backed away from that. So we have billionaires who are unable to enter the silver market, and we know the reason why. The silver market is too tiny, as I mentioned in the interview the other night with Chris Duane and Elijah from Unconventional Finance, that just $1 billion is enough to take delivery of, 1 billion ounces. Only $32 billion is enough to take delivery of 1 billion ounces, and that would actually have a very large impact on the silver market. We know that Warren Buffett, it's reported he took delivery of 1/10 of that, and at that time you can see that was only about, let's say he got it for $7 as an average. So that's really only about $700 to $800 million. Literally just a pittance, and he had to give that up. So was that silver folded into the SLV ETF? That's the speculation. We don't know, but we know that silver is such a tiny market that the billionaires are not allowed to play there. And of course, that means that the people that are allowed to play there are the little people, the silver stackers. That's going to be you, and that's going to be me. So looking at the weekly chart, we can see that silver is beginning to test the bottom side of this gigantic triangle formation, and it's coming to a climax here as to which way it's going to go. Of course, I think you already know what my opinion is as to which way it's going to go when this is tested. But again, as I said, this is a point in time that separates the men from the boys. Do you believe the fundamental story? Do you view the price of silver dropping as an opportunity to stack more? Or do you view it as a panic point where you're going to be chased out of the market? I think ultimately we're all going to find out who's going to win this game. And we'll talk to you next time.